The modern day rat race on the internet in the big 25, almost 26 now, as of recording, I don't know when I'm going to post this, is incredibly dehumanizing. This is coming from a creative person. Every day I go home from work, not every day, but 5 days a week. I go home from work, maybe cook something or go grab something to eat, maybe play a game for a few hours, talk to my friends, and then for at least 1 or 2 hours a day, I am making a video. I am usually not a video, but it's either I'm coding, I'm writing a blog, or I'm making a video, or some other productive task like reading. I haven't even read these books because most of my time is spent like programming or doing something else. And for the record, I know disclaimers are terrible for engagement. Jingle, jingle, jingle. I am doing my first unscripted video, so please forgive me for being rambly. I think creative people similar to me that spend their free time doing the creation of stuff will understand what I mean when I say that the algorithms today are extremely exploitative, not of those who create, big or small, but of the viewers as well, the consumers, the people who read tweets on X, who like the engagement farms on X, the everything app, formerly Twitter. Whether that's a YouTube video watcher who sees 20 fucking, I'm going to be swearing, 20 fucking videos on their homepage, and each of them, none of their titles actually say what they're about. I'm mad, okay? I come home from the blowjob factory, an 8-hour shift of the blowjob factory, come home, and I really want to watch a YouTube video from someone who's like funny. And then boom, it's so over. Oh my God. OMG, breaking news, holy shit. And you click on it and it's Asmongold just eating trash, just eating garbage and then throwing more garbage behind him. The modern content ecosystem, consumption and production is a terrible rat race. The modern algorithms, they are exploitative in that the only way for a person to get noticed is by emotionally engaging the viewer. And this is not healthy. YouTube isn't just something that people in the United States see. YouTube is something that people all around the world see. And not necessarily YouTube, just media in general. I think any form of media where you have user-generated content being disseminated through an algorithm, YouTube, X, Reddit. I remember back in the old days, Reddit didn't really have an algorithm. Or maybe I'm just crazy. I don't know. It just had updoots and downdoots. Even if you're a big creator and you're making just fat stacks of money, you'll fucking hate your job in a few years because the internet moves so fast. When I say rat race, I mean if you take you're a rat, you're a little itty bitty rat in this race of millions of other people who want money. Mostly, it's usually just money. But if you stop for 1 second, you're going to have 20 other rats that got 20 meters ahead of you because there will always be someone working harder. There will always be someone with a better title. There will always be someone with a more attractive thumbnail with big boobies on it, big cartoon boobies on it. But I do want to say, it's a little late for me to even say this, but the purpose of me saying any of this is not to be like, wah, 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 I'm a small creator, no one gives me attention. Because I think the most important drive, and what my drive personally, is not for you to see my stuff. It is for me to create something, the process of creation, combined with obviously the dopamine rush of releasing something that has been created by me. That is what drives me forward. I like to produce stuff that people might like. And getting views is a part of, like on YouTube, I'm going to be using YouTube specifically here, but getting whether it's views or subscribers on like Steam, because I've had mods with tens of thousands of subscribers, but it doesn't really fulfill you as a creative person because that's not what fulfills you as a creative person. Views they're a means to an end, but they're also an indictment on the quality of the work you produce. At least that's how it feels in the day of the algorithm. And let me give you an example. I saw this tweet from Dan Henschel, and he said, "Nuance doesn't pay the bills." And if you know Dan Henschel, you'll know he's a satirist. I think that's the term for it. He's a very funny guy, but Nuance, no one gives a shit. No one gives a shit about you. No one gives a shit about me, on the internet at least. Because if you put hundreds of hours into something and that something doesn't engage the algorithm, no one's going to see it. For instance, last week, I think it was about a week ago now, I put about 5 hours into making a video about NeoVim. It's just like a basic critique, but it was heartfelt. I think it was thoughtful. I think it was also generally well received, although it was a little controversial compared to my other videos. But in comparison to a video I made a year ago, yeah, I think it's about a year ago. It was about YouTube comment toxicity. It was a full natural language processing NLP analysis of the toxicity ratings of various YouTube comment categories or YouTube video categories and the comments that they received. So like art videos, they got surprisingly threatening comments. And I made a whole like 8-minute video with, I slaved. I slaved in the coal mines making motion graphics for the whole video. And it got a fair bit of views. It got, I think, 500 views, which that's pretty good for me. I have 50 subscribers right now, but I put comparatively probably 30 or 40 hours just on video production. I also had to do the research. I had to write the algorithm. Fortunately, I just used a natural language model. So I just, stole that. But I put dozens of hours into it and it got 500 views compared to a video I did last week. Put maybe 10% of the time into that got more views. And this is not a sob story. I'm not saying, wah, no one liked what I made before, because I don't make the perfect content. I don't make engagement maximized content. I make stuff that I want to make on the platforms that I'm on. But with all that said, views are still a metric. They're still people seeing what you have created as a creator. And putting dozens of hours into a project and seeing that no one saw it, that sucks. Imagine going to your job and you work your ass off. You put in many hours of overtime every single day for a week, and your boss doesn't even notice. No one around you notices. Your pay doesn't go up. In fact, people don't really think you're doing much of anything because no one knows that you busted your ass. No one knows that you did this. And no one really cares, because why would they? You can't blame someone for not enjoying what you create, because for one, it is you that is creating it. You have to make it interesting. But second, we are all so hyper dependent on algorithms these days. I say these days like I'm a boomer. I'm 20 fucking 2 years old. I've just reached adulthood a few years ago. I've just moved out on my own a couple of years ago. And I think that when you are a creative person and you think a lot, because I think about what I do, what I have done a lot. I think I'm a very reflective person, and being in this rat race is genuinely it just sucks energy out of you. It's like being in space. There's a vacuum of, like, you're full of content. Your body is made of content, at least from the perspective of like the YouTube or Substack CEO. They don't see people, they see bundles of content walking around, and in this vacuum of nothingness. And slowly but surely that content is just sucked out of your soul, and you get 20 views, 30 views, 40 views, 100 views, 40 views on your channel shrinking. No one that one wasn't as engaging. And I think you'll see what I mean, because this doesn't just affect small creators. This affects the big creators. You have major creators leaving these major platforms like YouTube every single day. I think Veritasium quit the other day. Yeah, Doug, he quit the other day. I think Veritasium was different because he got kicked out due to private equity. But honestly, I have no idea. I'm not going to talk about that. But the burnout of the rat race is real. The exhaustion from running as a little rat on this never-ending wheel, because no one will ever be satisfied with the content that they are consuming, because there is so much content. It is so algorithmically attention optimized and emotionally optimized to where you feel burned out scrolling for an hour because it's just you just go fucking zombie mode. Just yeah, I'm just gonna keep scrolling. I don't know what else to do right now. I mean, and I do this too because we are all essentially slaves to the algorithm. We're all slaves to the rat race on the internet, at least. Also, there's a rat race in real life, in the economy, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. Although it is definitely tangentially related. And just kind of to summarize everything I've been saying, because I know I've been rambling a little bit. That's kind of the purpose of this video, is to loosen myself up to unscripted rambles. But the point I'm trying to make is that there's pros and cons to making stuff on the internet. The only healthy way to engage as someone who produces content, whether that's a mod, a video, or a blog, or anything, a book even, is to have this ideology of it does not matter if what I create does not get seen by a single person. Because the odds that no one sees what you create, no one sees what you've worked hard over, is very likely. Unless you already have a massive audience, you can make a piece of shit, but at least 5, 10, 10,000 people might see it. But if someone like me, if someone like you, the viewer, if you made something that took a part of your soul to create, let's say you learned knitting, if you created a sweater from scratch using cashmere or some like fancy fabric, and then you just gave it away. And then the person that took the cashmere sweater that you just hand knitted for hundreds of hours, they feel like, oh, that's cool, and they throw it in the trash. And that's kind of how it feels to post anything to the modern internet, the algorithm internet, where you pour this piece of your soul into something only for a small group of people to see it, if anyone. And if some people do see it, then they expect you to do the same thing at the same time tomorrow. And who can really blame them?